So more injuries occur due to overuse as opposed to trauma. So if my dancers are dancing for 10, 12 hours straight, they're gonna be tired. And at the end of the day, I have to be conscious of the fact that their bodies are tired, because at that point, their body is a lot more susceptible to injury.
You normally will get hurt with poor technique in your knees and your back. I see that the most. When you don't know how to hold your body appropriately, we tend to overexert ourselves, we tend to push the limits, and it's usually back injuries and it's usually knee injuries. But by maintaining your core and keeping that strong at all times, you're gonna decrease your injuries, and it's gonna take a lot of pressure off of your knees and off of your back because you're holding your body appropriately. The core it's encompassing all of your muscles in your stomach, yeah? So basically from the bottom of your ribs, all of your rib cage and your stomach muscles. So it's that right in the center, it encompasses your core. And those muscles, when they're engaged and you're pulling your core muscles and you're pulling everything toward your back and to support your spine, that's the key. That's an incorrect position. This is putting too much pressure on your low back and your ribs are totally open, and you can't really operate and do much from this position. So to fix this, what I want Chessa to do is I want you to roll your hips underneath yourself. So roll them underneath, engage that lower stomach so it pulls in toward the back, and then take your top ribs and pinch them together, almost like you're wearing a tight t-shirt or a corset. All right, so that now you're all in alignment and her arms naturally go in a little bit in front of her, making it a perfect position for her to test her balance. We lose your neck and it looks like you have so much tension in your upper body. So to eliminate this, I'm gonna have Chessa push down on her shoulders. There we go, good. And creating that nice long neckline and nice long arm line. You also want to make sure that your arms are in your peripheral vision. So if her arms are behind her, her rib cage is totally open and exposed, and now go for your balance. It makes it a little harder to balance. Good, come down. Nice, adjust your arms and go for that perfect balance one more time, pushing down under those shoulders. Beautiful, and come down. Nice. So taking your right foot back, Chessa, just show me a parallel position. There we go. So you want to make sure your weight is directly in the center. So if she moves front too far, that's not a good position and alignment. And if she moves back too far, that is also an improper way to do this. So you want to go right in the center so your weight is in the middle of both legs. From there, just take me up to a simple passe. And now, incorrectly, let's sickle your foot. Let's droop your arms and just, so there's no life, there's no hold, there's nothing she's thinking about. To fix all of this, we want to point that foot and bring the heel toward the thigh. That's it. Her knee is nice and pulled up high, a high passe, so it's above her knee. The stomach is engaged, pulling toward the back again, and the arms are still lifted and nice and rounded. From there, you're going to push down underneath your shoulders and just go up for a balance. And come down. Good, so she's in proper alignment for her balance. This is too much of a turnout because what's happening is she's rolling down into her arches and she can't really control her turnout, and she's putting too much pressure on her knees. So to fix this, what I want Chessa to do is just decrease the first position a little bit so that she's comfortably resting on her whole entire foot. There we go, and now she's utilizing the turnout from her inner thigh as opposed to putting pressure on the knee. So dancers, this is what your tendu should look like. See Chessa's heels presented toward the front, and it's a nice long line. If she turns it in and sickles her foot, look what happens. It breaks that whole line. She's over her toe, and that's not very pretty. So what, again, you want to do is get on top of the toe and rotate, presenting that heel forward and initiating the turnout from the inner thigh so that it creates this line, this nice turned out line all the way down to the toes. You want to really make sure that you're favoring the big toe, the first two toes on your feet, and being high up on the balls of those feet. So if you rock back towards your small toe, see what happens? You're in the wrong position and your weight is too close to your pinky toe and you're sickling your foot. So you want to readjust the weight and come right into the first two toes there, and that way she's nice and steady in her releve.
I think just as important as being a good dancer, you got to be a smart dancer. Probably more important, you need to be a smart dancer. And being a smart dancer means that you know when enough is enough, you know when you're not ready to try something, you know what level you are at and what level your technique is at.
I try to give myself at least a half an hour, 45 minutes of like warm up. If it's not at home, it's in the studio, I come early.
Since I started taking Pilates 10 years ago, I've completely minimized my injuries and I know how to use my body properly. So I feel like it helps me in my dance career because I'm able to go out of control and pull it right back. I always know where to come back to, and I always call like core, it's like your home base. It's coming back home. You always want to come home to your core. And once you have the control of it and you know where it's at all times, you'll never have a problem.
Ballet is the most important part of your technique. It is the base. I've trained in ballet and now I feel solid in my technique when I go to an audition because even if I haven't taken a ballet class for a little bit, because I trained growing up, I feel solid.
Cross training, a lot of cardiovascular work and a lot of core strengthening. But again, it's not just doing it, doing the repetitions, but using it and how you use it in dance that I think really prevents injury. So I think it's taking what you learn from doing other stuff, other physical stuff, and applying it to your technique. That's really important.
You know, we have to be really in tune to ourselves as dancers and know what hurts when and why, and really educate ourselves. So yes, cross-training can be great. Any exercise can be great if we're doing it the right way.